Hi, I'm Ashot. I call this episode Similar Cures the Similar. One early morning, I found myself stuck at Vienna International Airport. My flight was significantly delayed, and there was no point in going home and waiting it out. So I decided to anchor down in the business lounge, which I must say is excellent in Vienna. You're very welcome. After enjoying some fresh scrambled eggs with ham and vegetables, I slowly immersed myself in the aroma of hot, pure Arabica coffee and even glanced at the apple strudel. Some people have a funny habit. When they're alone, or even with someone else, they will start to openly and noticeably say or do something, cautiously glancing at your reaction. In other words, they're doing something with themselves or their companion, but at the same time they're playing with your opinion. This is exactly how an elderly man at the neighboring table was expressing his sincere disrespect against the homeopathy to his wife sitting across from him, while simultaneously casting glances in my direction. He periodically eyed a headline in the newspaper in front of him where someone was either criticizing homeopathy or, conversely, giving an example of how it works. I decided to play along and, pretending to be naive, directly asked him what homeopathy actually is. Oh my God, he was delighted. The stage was his. With a wise look, he explained to me with a great pleasure that homeopathy consists of alternative magical placebo granules based on biologically pure herbs lacking scientifically proven effectiveness. Moreover, homeopathic remedies are usually diluted to such an extent that they contain no detectable molecules of the active substance, which calls into question their ability to have any physical effect on the body. The most that homeopathy can achieve is the placebo effect. That is, the improvement in the patient's condition is not due to the action of the homeopathic remedy itself, but rather to the patient's expectations and belief in its effectiveness. His wife listened attentively to her speaker, her eyes full of pride. He was saying everything correctly. Homeopathy is not serious. Well, that's right, isn't it? Let's give it a shot. Do you personally know what the word homeopathy specifically means? The term comes from two Greek words. The first, homoios, or the well-known homo, meaning similar, and nothing else, by the way. And the second, pathos, suffering, disease, which is also the root of the word patient. So, if you will, homeopathy could be called a system where similar cures the similar. But what are those two similars? Well, the founder of homeopathy is considered to be the German physician, pharmacologist, and chemist Christian Friedrich Samuel Hahnemann, who developed this concept in the late 18th century. Hahnemann was well versed in medical substances and their effects on the body. And he even conducted experiments, including self-testing with toxic substances. Hahnemann studied poisons, including deadly ones, and created a detailed classification of them, meaning which poisons cause which symptoms. For example, some brown root from Peru causes cold sweats when ingested. Some orange berry from South Africa causes dizziness, and some black juice from Serbia raises body temperature. All these are, of course, purely symbolic examples for your understanding. Then Hahnemann took a specific poison and diluted it, say 1 to 10, with distilled water. He then diluted the resulting solution again 1 to 10. This process was repeated a third time with 1 to 10 dilution, and so on many times. By the way, after performing such a dilution of 1 to 10 6 times in a row, he decided to call the process of dilution potentiation and the resulting substance potency. In this case, D6. In D6, the ratio of the original substance to the solution is 1 to 1 million. He diluted other poisons in a ratio of 1 to 100 and did this not 6 times but 100 times, resulting in a remedy called C100. At such high dilutions, the amount of active substance becomes extremely small, and in such solutions there may not be a single molecule of the original substance left. Then Hahnemann discovered something astonishing. If a patient with specific symptoms is giving a remedy that contains, even in very low amounts, the very poison that causes those symptoms in a healthy person, the body somehow uses this information to trigger its own healing mechanism, specifically against those symptoms. There you have it. Similar cures the similar. Moreover, it turns out that the remedy does not treat, since it practically contains no detectable substance, but rather informs the body how to heal itself. For example, if a patient complains of a complex of symptoms including cold sweats, high fever, and skin redness, the doctor selects a combination of remedies that cause exactly those 3 symptoms. After taking a remedy that actually contains 1/1,000,000th of some substance, or perhaps even not a single molecule of that substance, a miracle occurs. The very 3 symptoms disappear. And you know what? Even if it were the placebo effect, great! It works! I would personally happily pay money for a placebo. Why? I remove the symptoms, I don't fill my body with chemicals that have side effects, and I even teach my mind the art of visualization and self-healing. In 1796, Hahnemann published his ideas, formulating the basic principles of homeopathy, using high dilutions of substances that in large doses cause symptoms in healthy individuals similar to those being treated in patients. This is the key to understanding homeopathy. Similar cures the similar. Now it's clear that the similars here are 2 things: the patient's symptom and the homeopathic substance that eliminates it. Modern homeopaths prescribe homeopathic potencies in 3 categories. Low potencies, for example D6 to C6, are used to treat mild and acute conditions. Medium potencies, from C12 to C50, are applied in more complex cases where more subtle yet deep effect on the body is required. High potencies, C200 and above, are prescribed for chronic diseases and serve conditions where an even more subtle yet powerful effect is necessary. Despite criticism from traditional medicine, the history of homeopathy is one of search and improvement, and I am confident it will continue to attract the attention of both patients and doctors. I don't suggest treating a heart attack or cancer with homeopathy, but homeopathy can easily serve as complementary therapy, and in some cases it may indeed be the only therapy.